You're listening to a lifestyle podcast with Lovoni and Sarah. Our goals: to inspire good health and well-being, empowerment, beauty and joy, offering support and friendship as we share our journeys in the hopes it helps you. Hello my friends, and thanks for tuning in to what was once the Waiting Room podcast. I'm Lovoni, and together with my co-host Sarah, we want to let you know our podcast has changed its name from the Waiting Room podcast to simply Lovoni and Sarah. Now, along with the name change, we're doing some rebranding and developing a website, all very exciting, and we'd love you to come along on this adventure with us.
The Waiting Room podcast is a no-nonsense approach to regaining good health, losing weight and feeling better, peppered with helpful lifestyle tips and cooking inspiration. Join me, Sarah Holton,
and me, Lovoni Walker, as we talk frankly about the impact on mental and physical health when riding the weight loss and gain roller coaster.
We traverse the nutritional and fitness misinformation highway and discuss what's working for us and what doesn't, with raucous and sometimes sad but relatable stories.
Follow us on our journeys to health and well-being as we help to inspire others to feel their best with a simplistic approach to eating thoughtfully and living abundantly. The most important relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. It takes effort to work at its best, and like every relationship, it has its ups and downs and isn't perfect. Hi, it's Lovoni here. Welcome to today's episode, where we're going to talk about the relationship we have with ourselves, which can be a tumultuous one. But I think like any relationship you have in your life, it has its ups and downs, and I don't know. People may disagree with this, but Sarah knows my view on the whole perfection thing. You know, you're supposed to love yourself. And I think that's just another thing that I have to contend with. I have to tell myself, okay, yes, remember to love yourself. Got to exercise, eat right, love yourself. And how do you go about that? I'm really hard on myself, so I'm not very good at that. But I'm also not going to put pressure on myself for the whole loving myself thing. And I recently had a very, it was kind of odd. It was you had to be there situation. But I was up in Canada talking to some people about, some production people about hosting a TV show for them. And, you know, it had all closed and we'd finished up. And I went back to my hotel. I'd been up there for 5 days. Went back to my hotel, was heading back home to the US the next morning, and one of the producers wanted to come and speak to me at the hotel. Not a problem. But I had talked in the meetings that we were having about my journey and how this was a journey. My parents had died, both died in 2022, and I was absolutely crushed. And also that year I'd had both my knees replaced. So it's kind of like a new lease I had. Not a new lease on life. That sounds awful when your parents have just died. But it was like a new book, not just a new chapter, like a whole new book.
Yeah.
And so I was going to go on this journey thinking, okay, so that part of my life is done. And now I'm on to the new part and how I wanted to see that. I had to somehow take this grief that I was feeling and use it in a positive way. But he saw that as such a negative that he felt compelled to sit me down and tell me that I needed to be a bit more like Lizzo, the singer, the American singer, who, she's great. But he's like, she's a big girl and she loves herself. And I think, well, I don't not like myself. He's saying she's got confidence and you need to be like that. And I think, well, I have confidence. I'm just quieter about it. And she's up on stage performing. I'm not doing that. I know that what I do, I'm good at. And, there are things I like about myself. I don't need somebody like that to tell me how I need to behave, because he saw her as being on a journey as a negative thing, that somehow I hated myself because I was going on this journey. And I think, wow, I'm taking something in my life that was quite negative. That's, you know, it crushed me losing both the mum and my father 3.5 months apart, and turning it around into something more positive. And then he decided that it was a very negative thing. That
So what do you thought was negative? The fact that you said you needed to change?
Because it was a journey that I was going on. And he said,
Okay.
you need to love yourself now. And I think if I hear one more person say that, not necessarily directly to me, but if you go on social media and listen to any sort of guru or whatever you want to call them, motivational speaker or something like that, telling you how you need to be, one of the first things that they say is you have to love yourself. But every relationship isn't all sunshine and fucking roses,
Well,
you
and
know,
also
and nor it is with yourself.
yeah, you could take the argument that you do love yourself, which is why you want to do this to
Right.
start with. You
Yeah.
really genuinely didn't have love for yourself or care for yourself, you
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
bloody bother.
care. I wouldn't bother. I know,
You'd be literally
exactly.
stay on the sofa
Right.
and have a takeaway every single day and do
Right.
nothing but watch television and not bother to better yourself in any way. So for me, the counter argument to that is exactly, well, that's exactly what I am doing. Because
Right.
we've talked about before is there's quite a movement of accepting yourself, loving yourself, whatever the phrase wants to be, exactly as you are. And I'm a bit like, but what about, there's this middle gap, isn't there? About,
Yeah.
well, what about wanting to be healthy and look after myself and be a better version? Not because I need to be thin,
Right.
and not because I need to wear a certain outfit or, you know, look Instagrammable all the time.
Right.
But what about that I can totally accept the fact that I am the shape and the size that I am now. And I don't hate myself. Some days you look in the mirror and go, God, I hate the way I look.
Right.
But no matter what size you are, you know, I'm absolutely positive that every, you know, even a catwalk model has some days when they get up and go, crikey, I look awful.
Right.
You know,
right.
You look in the mirror and see someone different every day of the week, even an hour from 1 hour to the next.
Right.
So that's a completely different situation. And again, it can be down to clothes choice. You put something on and go, I feel great. You know, I feel great. And then you put something else on and go, I really feel awful. And that's just literally the clothes I've chosen to put on in the same day, in the same hour.
Right, right.
Same size, everything. So there is, I guess, an argument to say what he's saying is accepting and loving yourself as you are. But you do. There was never a question about that.
Right.
Clearly you do, because what you're just describing. But do you have to be forced to say that I love myself, that I'm just going to stay exactly as I am?
Right.
Why?
See, if everybody thought that, and I wish I had have said something, but I didn't. I sat there listening, wanted to poke a fork in his eye, and I had a tear roll down my face, not because he touched a nerve, but because I thought, you have no idea. I'm doing this, well, I'm doing it for me, but I'm doing it to make positive of something that was traumatic in my life, right? Yeah. But I thought afterwards, like you said the same thing. If everybody just loved themselves how they were right now, then nobody would get off their ass and get healthy. Yeah. I mean, it's the motivation to do it. And it doesn't mean that you despise yourself. There's sometimes during the day that I do. You know, if I've reacted badly to something and I think that I've reacted badly to it, then I'm like, oh, God, Lovoni, you know, and I get mad with myself. But that's okay. We get mad with people. That constant, you have to love yourself and you have to not be perfect. I know I started off by saying that, but it just feels like it's just yet another thing that we have to aspire to do. And I think, no, what we could do is accept that the relationship with ourselves has its ups and downs. And some days are better than others.
Yeah.
And you were saying about the clothes. Yeah, I like to wear black. Today I'm actually wearing navy. I don't know if you can see that.
Well done.
But I try, you know, to wear different colours, and I put them on and I think I just don't feel comfortable. but then I'll go and pop on a black turtleneck, put my hair up like I got it today, a nice sort of comfy pair of black pants, and I feel good. I feel good in that. Not because I'm hiding. People think, oh, if you wear black, that means that you're just trying to hide. I think, no, I actually like how it suits me, and I like how I feel in it. Yesterday I had on a wine-coloured jumper, but
I love the justification.
I know, that's the thing. It's like you feel like you have to justify it. But I don't feel good if I'm wearing like bright teal or orange or something.
Now. You should pick a jumper.
But that suits you. And I know I can wear hot pink, but I don't know. You got to do things that make yourself feel better, apart from stuffing your face with cake, that help you lead down that path to liking yourself more. Whether it's
though, isn't it? Don't you think? Because actually, just thinking about clothes, then, my partner is so encouraging. So prior to us meeting, I probably just felt a bit floundering, and I would morph myself, if I'm really honest, into whoever my boyfriend was, or whoever I was going out, as in physically going out for dinner with, or friends, anyone. And I would, I guess, not knowingly so, try and force myself to look a certain way, and what I thought was attractive and what I thought was beautiful, and what I thought, if I'm brutally honest, what I thought men thought was attractive and beautiful. And I guess inside of me, without really knowing, there was a much more flamboyant side that was just trying to do something. And when I think back to my early 20s, I was much more sort of, within the sort of 90s, 2000s sort of realm. But, I wore much more adventurous things.
Right.
My sort of style icon, I loved her and still do actually, was J-Lo. I was like, all I wanted to do was look like J-Lo, mainly because she had a really good booty. So my bum, because I've got a big bum, I was like, I can carry that off. I can look like J-Lo, if only. But and so now, and my partner now really, really encourages me to choose things that I love and are way, way more ambitious than I'd ever even thought.
To not be beige, Sarah.
Beige, yeah. And when I had my surgery, somehow I accidentally bought so many beige clothes. Like, who are you? I've
never shop after surgery.
Do you know what? I felt shocking. I felt so beige in my face.
Right.
Because I was wearing beige, and I'm like, what? But in my head, I had this sort of comfy lounge outfit that was going to look great, and then I put it on, and like, that wasn't what I thought was going to happen. And I just bloody awful.
Suited the mood du jour.
Genuinely made me look and feel so much worse. It's like, I'm going to have to get some proper clothes back on, because this is not doing me any favours.
It's good that he encourages that.
He's so...
Not the beige, the colour.
Yeah, and he's so complimentary, and we went shopping a good few months back to an outlet store over here, so basically sort of really high-end brands that are discounted, and there was this amazing cargo, a camouflage jumpsuit, like bodysuit jumpsuit thing, and I thought I really loved that. And he said, try it on. I was like, I can't. It was a size smaller than I thought I was going to fit into. It was a little snug, but I got into it. And he was just like, oh my God, you look amazing. And all the the shop assistants came and went, no, honestly. And in my head, like, really? Can I really buy this sort of camo?
I hope you bought it, did you?
Boiler. Yeah, I did. And I've worn it a few times.
Oh, I've had good for you. Really?
You look amazing. And it's those sorts of things that I need to start to, and that's what I've done. I've built my wardrobe into these different things. I don't have a colour. I know I can't wear black, which is really unfortunate, because I wish I
you can't,
could,
eh? No.
I look dreadful. I wear navy, but I can't wear black.
Right.
And I used to wear so much black, like back in my sort of younger days, like all it would ever be is black. And I hated myself. I really did. We talk about loving ourselves.
Right.
It's only really been in the last sort of, well, it has only really been in the last 2 years that I've suddenly got to a point where I am so happy being just who I am.
Oh.
Now, but that does not mean that I don't want to improve my health, improve my better, but the inside me, and then the way I then put the outside me. Some days I hate, oh my God, and you get in a right frump and you take everything out of your wardrobe that you own and you throw it everywhere and go, I've got nothing to wear, and all of that drop. everyone has those.
Mm-hmm.
But I genuinely really like what I'm choosing, who I am, my life choices. And I spoke about this recently with my sister, and she's changed sort of shape over the last couple of years and is not comfortable with it at all, because actually it's not what she's used to, and it's not her, it's what she'd class it as. And I can totally understand. She said, I just feel awful in all of my clothes, don't you know what I mean? I said, actually, no, I don't, because all of the things that I've chosen recently I really love, and I really like how I feel in them. It doesn't matter, they're not the size that I would love to be, or would once have wanted to love to be. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I've bought the size of clothes that I am now.
Right.
Wearing the size of clothes that I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm choosing things that I really like, and I'm wearing them hopefully with a little bit of flamboyancy or style, or
Right.
just, you own
Owning
what
it.
it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you said, you put your black turtleneck on and
Mm-hmm.
your hair up, and probably could put a red lip on if you were going out, and
Right.
you own it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not
Exactly.
because you're forced into wearing that. And I think that's the difference, isn't it, about going back to the loving yourself, liking yourself thing. It's that inner bit, and it doesn't mean that you don't have days where you dislike yourself and just think, oh, all of that sort of stuff. It's having the inner confidence to be really who you really are.
Right.
And that comes out in your clothes.
And starting on a positive note, and it doesn't have to be anything expensive or flash. I never buy any clothes that are on full price. Everything is always on sale. But even if I don't see anybody in the whole day, if my husband's away, I will still do my hair and put some makeup on.
Me too.
Every day I do that. And if I put something on, I usually choose my clothes the night before, just because it makes the morning easier. And if I put something on, even if it's just a t-shirt and a pair of capris or something like that, and I don't like them or feel comfortable in, I will get changed, because it sets my whole mood up for the day.
It does. The whole day is ruined. You don't feel. And I've recently thought about that. We've had really cold weather over here recently. It's now raining a lot, but we've had, for us, we've had really cold weather. So I'd get up every day, put a thermal t-shirt on, my jeans, and then a jumper, because it was just kind of, that's what I put on. And I was thinking, why am I feeling so off today? Because I felt really off and frumpy. And I thought, because it wasn't an outfit that I chose,
right?
Which sounds a little bit up yourself maybe, but I just put jeans and a jumper on because that made sense, because it was cold.
Right.
But I felt I couldn't focus all day.
Yes.
I felt a bit weird.
Yeah, you just feel off somehow.
And I was a bit like, and actually I don't like my jeans at all at the moment. But I find jean shopping, I don't know if you buy jeans, but jean shopping is one of the most stressful things you can do ever. Take a house move over that every day of the week. I'm like, I
just buy stretchy jeans.
Yeah. And
jeggings.
I just don't like them. So, but I'm wearing what I've got at the moment.
Right.
And actually, because they're a little bit stretchy, it's helping with, the leg, with where it's swollen and the wound and stuff, or the scar. But I don't like them, and it's making a real effect. And I just sort of thought, I don't want to put them on.
No.
I don't want to put them on because I don't like the way that I feel. So we'll put something else on. And it has such an effect of that relationship. Now, if that was, a partner or your sort of child or a friend, will be like, well, don't worry, just wear something else. But there's times you're like, oh, get a grip, just wear what you've got on.
Right.
Because you sort of speak unkindly to yourself. And it's that relationship again, isn't it? You go, actually, I deserve that few minutes just to go and get changed as much as anybody else. I wouldn't, or maybe I would. Maybe I'm a bit impatient. But anyway, if I try to be patient,
I just think I just know how it sets my mind up for the day. It's like making your bed, that type of thing. I just couldn't not make my bed. So,
but maybe that's going back to what we talked about in the last episode. This bit of dedicated attention, going back to the exercise. If we dedicate some attention and some time to doing that exercise for half an hour a day, whatever it is, that also sets you up for the day, doesn't it? Particularly if you do it in the morning.
Right.
You feel sassier, don't you, once you've done
I think so, yeah. My mind is clearer, and I have more energy as well when I do that. And that's part. Okay, so here we go. What to love, not necessarily love yourself, but to, at the end of the day, when you can say, oh, Sarah, you did great today. What does a day look like that to you? What does your day look like?
I think not to have wasted the day. So everything has been done with intent.
Right.
So
I like that.
I've got up and I've done some exercise. Doesn't have to be, massive, but I've done something. I've intentionally done that. I've intentionally done my self-care routine, my washing my face, my moisturizer, doing my hair, my makeup, my jewelry. I always put jewelry on. You'll never see me without earrings, without a shadow of a doubt. I've intentionally chosen what I'm going to wear rather than just stuck it on because it was waiting for me on the chair.
Right.
It was, I had it on yesterday. I chose what food I was going to feed my body with rather than just going, oh, that'll do. I've got nothing. So I grabbed a bit of bread and, all of that sort of stuff.
Took the time to make yourself something.
Yeah, it's delicious and nutritious and it's going to help benefit me. I've intentionally got the work done that needed to be done rather than, we've all done it, pick something up, faff about, and not made any progress on anything. Even if I haven't got through, the massive amount, I've chosen something that needs to be done and I felt like I've succeeded in that.
Right.
For me, I've supported my son in what he needs for that day, whether that's lifts here, there and everywhere, helping him improve himself. He's revising at the moment, studying, learning to drive. If I can benefit him and help him in the day. My partner, he's got, really busy job. So if I can help him, maybe that's because I've chosen an evening meal to prepare so he can just come home and it's ready. Or
so doing things for others too.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm always doing that, to be fair, and that makes me happy.
Right.
It does make me happy. But I think to answer your question, I guess, is to go to bed. I've done everything with intention today.
Right. I like that.
Spent an hour accidentally scrolling through my phone.
Right.
If I've decided that I want to spend half an hour, because I have to use social media for my work. That's fine. But I've set the half an hour that I'm going to do that.
Right.
So I've gone and I've done it.
Factored
and then I've
it
moved
into
away.
the day. Yeah.
It hasn't just eaten into these, the number of hours that has then suddenly dissolved. So that's for me. What about you? What would success look like?
I'm glad that you put taking care of yourself first there. Because I think as I know you hate the term, but as a mother, I think that it's so easy. And a mother and a businesswoman, I'm a stepmom, but my stepkids are grown. But as a mum, I think it's just easy to put yourself last. But I'm glad that you put yourself first on that list when you ran
I did,
through.
and do you know why? I mentally went through my day, and what I've done, and we talked about this, not on an episode, but is setting my alarm earlier.
Yes.
Because actually, the reason I can do that is because I get up before he gets up.
Right.
So I get up an hour, or try to make it an hour if I've snoozed a bit, but an hour before I know that he's going to surface from his room,
and have Sarah
so that I
time.
can then, so I can do some yoga, and I've without fail done all of my skin routine and had my shower and got dressed, and then the chaos starts because it's like, right, downstairs, breakfasts are ready. I'm not so good at making sure I've got the food there ready for me, which is one of the things that I want to do better going forward. But your chaos starts. Got to get him to college, got to sort the dogs out, all of that sort of stuff, and so it's so easy for then Sarah to slip down the list. I'm like, oh, and then all of a sudden you've got work calls, and same for everybody. This is the same. Yes, the load's probably a little bit more on me because I've only got one pair of hands rather than two to share it, although it's quite often that one of the members of the family's gone out to work early or whatever. Anyway, it's not always that, even if there are two of you living there, that you get to share it. However, you do get that bouncing off each other, which I haven't had. But it's worked well, and you could argue sometimes it's easier because I'm like, right, I'll just get that done, and I haven't had to discuss it or
or argue about it.
There's pros and cons to everything, and I know that I've made decisions just because I know that that's ticked done, and it may not have been the right way to do it, but it's just got it done off my list, so I don't have to worry. But you're right, generally what happens is that I didn't do me. But he's older now, and I've learned I get up earlier and all that sort of thing. So that's how that sort of come about. Is I guess unintentionally, but move myself up the list by doing that. Yeah,
instead of making yourself top of the low priority list.
Yes, exactly.
Which so many people do, especially.
Yeah, and you still do. When I'm mega busy, I still do. So I'm like, I just want to clean the kitchen because I can't leave the kitchen untidy.
No.
Just stress. I know that the next day I'm going to pay for it because you'll come in and go, oh, you just hold your head, there's stuff everywhere, and how am I going to do it? It's just, you get it done at the end of the day, which is a pain because just like, what I want to do is sit. The one thing I'm bad at is relaxing. I don't relax. I don't have time to do not a lot because I'm always on the go doing something. However, you know, if that's the last thing that's not coming about, well, then that's fine, isn't it?
Right. It's not forever. You know,
no, exactly.
If relaxing, if I lay down on the when we had a couch,
on your beach chair,
if I lay down and I think, okay, I'm just going to watch a bit of TV, I'm out like a light. I just fall asleep.
Oh, you're snoring.
So I'm just sound asleep. But for me, a good day, a day that I can sort of go, atta girl, Lovoni, you know, you did well.
Yeah.
Is where I have, sorry, I'm just thinking, why is that light flashing? Let me see. So I get up early, definitely, which I do, set my alarm, or my husband's alarm wakes me. But I haven't lay in bed scrolling, like you were saying, for an hour, and suddenly you think, oh, good grief, that time has passed. Yeah. So if I get up and, you know, get ready and take care of the little guy, Ramsey, our dog, and then go and work out, and then have a breakfast that I think is, you know, I mean, if I'm hungry, I'll have a breakfast, but I try to, you know, fruit or whatever. Anyway, and then go through, like you said, with intent and just try and focus. My big thing is my focus, because I'll be like, oh, I'll put washing on, I'll do this, I'll do that. And suddenly 2 hours have gone and I haven't actually attacked the big picture. Or it's like I've got all these recipes to test or recipes to write and develop, and I just launch right into that without taking care of my own needs and setting the day up how I want it to go, which is some exercise and some nutrition, and then going forth with my day. So I like to try and have all that. If I'm up at 6, I like to try and have all that done by 8 and start into my work at 8, because then my husband gets home quite early and it doesn't matter, I can still keep working. He'll often come home to a catastrophic mess in the kitchen and will help me clean it up. But I find doing stuff the night before helps me have a better day the next day.
Preparation.
So the preparation. So making sure everything's, you know, sort of clean in the kitchen. Even if it's just, you know, getting Ramsey's bowl out ready to give him his breakfast. Getting my outfit ready. I say that like I'm going to a nightclub. It's just a pair of pants and a jumper or something, you know, whatever. But just something so I don't have to think about it. It's there, it's done, you know. I get my underwear out as well.
Do you? Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
No, it's all there.
Do you iron your underwear? Do you iron your
No, I don't iron my underwear. I don't iron most of my clothes. Some stuff I have to. But, and that's another thing too, and this isn't like every day, obviously, but what I did a couple of weeks ago was I went through my wardrobe yet again, my closet, and just did a big purge. Does this fit me? Do I like it? Does it suit me? You know, just a real reality check. And that in itself made me feel so much better. And then I thought, you know, I just need a couple of things. Okay, they're like cheap, $16 for a couple of sweaters. You know, so I got those. But just, you know, going through and getting rid of shit.
See, I find that really hard because I've been so many different sizes.
Right.
And some of the things that I really love are when I've been a smaller size.
Right.
And I know that I will be that size again because I've been up and down, and I can't get rid of it because I'm like, I want to wear that.
I have totes out in the garage. There's 2 totes they're skirts. They're my skirts that I will fit into them, and they're not going to date, and they're really nice. But just, you know, stuff that, you know, it's got a hole in it or whatever, that can be a painting top. Just stuff like that if it's stained or something. Because I think it's easy to have these things that, have so many of those, I think, well, I'm cooking. What difference does it make? I'll just have a soiled top on or a
And then
stain,
you don't feel good in
and then
it.
you just don't feel good. And I know some people might think that this is kind of materialistic, but it's all part. To other people, it might be other things, but this is what makes me feel good and sets me up for a good day, is starting that off, like you were saying.
Do you think that
pair of
comes from
earrings.
this is interesting because we both work in our homes,
Right.
and there was a time when I worked in a very corporate environment, and for
Right.
14 years I did. So every day I got up, had to wear office appropriate clothes, back when there was kind of office attire.
Right.
I know that probably for some places now, but and then I traveled, and that was the thing. You have a routine, so you have to leave home at a certain time because of traffic. You'd get there, you'd get a coffee as you got into the office, and you had clothes that were your work clothes, and you had clothes that were your home clothes.
Right.
And so you felt relaxed when you had your more casual clothes on. The moment I left that environment and started my own business, so every day I was at home, I did still get up. I didn't wear office clothes, obviously, but I did still get up and wear clothes that I felt were kind of my weekday clothes, my working clothes.
Right.
And then I had my my weekend clothes. And actually, come 6 o'clock, without fail, the first thing I want to do is go and get my pajama bottoms on, because I can't bear to be in them anymore. I'm like,
take your bra off.
Yeah, like, I just want the comfies. We call them, my sister and I call them our fat pants.
Right.
Fat pants on, because you just, you can just feel really comfy and not worry about anything. But I wonder if, some more and more people do, particularly in the UK. I don't know what it's, like so much over there with you, but loads of people still work from home after the pandemic.
Right.
And I wonder if that's affected people's mental attitude towards work, because people don't dress to go to work anymore, potentially.
Right.
They just get up and put clothes on. And I wonder if that's really altered the way people feel about themselves and feel about clothes. It'd be really interesting.
Yeah. But I still think that, well, I know it's what works for one doesn't necessarily work for another. But like I said, nobody can see me in the whole day. So when I do this, I do it for me, because it just sets my mental state up better. It's like, I don't know, I don't go and admire myself in the mirror, which would be nice. I try and avoid mirrors at the moment. But
do you?
Yeah, which is, and that's okay. I can, well, because I sent you that meme that there was a lady, and she said what I think I look like when I've done my hair and my makeup and what I actually look like. That was, totally different. Yeah. And that's how I think too. I think, okay, hair looks good, makeup looks good. And if I'm on a photo shoot, with the group or whatever, and on location, I go into the bathroom and I think, oh God, that deteriorated in 4 hours.
That went downhill.
Oh, but anyway. Well, because what I do...
The bathroom lighting is always the worst, isn't it? When you were younger, you went in a club and you looked in and went, whoa.
Right. Yeah. But, what I do is messy. But so I would often think, oh, well, I won't wear that. I'll wear that out. And I think, how often do I go out? I don't go out that much. But, so instead of having the good clothes, and I mean, I've got some party frocks. I'm not going to wear those while I'm, stuffing a chicken or whatever. But just to not, I don't know, I'm just like, it's all stuff that I can wear now, apart from the party frocks.
And maybe that's what we're saying when we open this up. We're saying you get what you put in, and nothing's perfect. So maybe this is part of it. So this routine that we're talking about, looking after ourselves, and what does a successful day look like? What we've just described, both of us, with the intent and the way that we go through that day, is what we're putting in, is what we're then, the feeling we're getting out of it. Because I think if we drifted through the day, didn't do any of those things, we wouldn't get out of it as much as, we wouldn't go to bed feeling like, oh, that's been a successful day, because actually it's just kind of drifted by. And it's the same with, any sort of relationship. If you haven't done something to feed it, whether it be negative or positive, you can feed the negative by creating, an argument, and then it just balloons out of control. That wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been fed in one way or the other. So you've got to feed that relationship with yourself, with other people, to get any sort of reaction, because otherwise it would just be nothing, wouldn't it? And I think that's what
true.
you're describing there. So what we're doing is we're feeding our own feeling and our own benefit by choosing these things, choosing what clothes we're going to wear, what food we're going to eat, how we're going to run that day.
Right, exactly. And that's where it starts.
But as you said right at the top, is like also not trying to be perfect, because that's where disappointment then comes in. You're like, well, I don't look, you were just saying I don't look in the mirror because it's not what I expected to, I don't want to see it. And
right.
Well, I would challenge you a little bit going, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
There's no reason not to look, because actually no one's asked you to be perfect other than yourself.
Right.
No one's expecting you to be perfect. So there's no reason not to look in the mirror.
Right. Yeah. Don't look at the 3 chins or the, I don't care about the lines, because that's just reality as you get older.
Yeah.
But just stop seeing things that you don't like about yourself, really. But
all you need is a 17-year-old son, and he'll kindly point them out for you.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Like, what's that on your face? I'm like, thank you.
Yeah. Right. Oh gosh. Well,
to be fair, he's my biggest fan.
That's good.
But also, 17-year-old lads are quite up for having a bit of a laugh, aren't they? So you've got to have a bit of a thick skin about them.
Right. And probably don't have much filter either.
Facial hair or something, like, thank you for that.
Right. Oh yes, you got that one hair growing out of your chin there, Mum.
Yeah. What's that?
Well, it was great getting to find out about what we see as a perfect day, about loving yourself, and the imperfect relationship. Because as we know, nothing is perfect, least of not ourselves. So until our next episode, thanks for tuning in.
Bye.